Hello everyone, I'm Yinghui Bei, and I'm a student studying in the School of Music of Cardiff University. And today I'm going to give you a presentation. The topic is analysis of Franz Liszt's Transcendental Etudes No.7 Eroica. And the reason why I choose this piece is because in 2022 Leiden piano competition, I saw a young Korean pianist Yun Chan Lin play the 12 Transcendental Etudes in the semifinals. I was impressed by the high playing technique of this whole set of works. And then I thought about that what technique flaws I had. And I realized that my octave skills were very weak. So I chose No.7 Eroica, which is full of octaves through the whole piece. I'll be analyzing the etude from two broad perspectives. Firstly, I'll illustrate the background of the 12 transcendental etudes and Eroica, then elaborating on their value. And the second part is for the performing skills, like octave skills and pedal skills, and how to perform with sense of layers. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them after the final part. So let's get started. And let's take a look at the first part. So, how was it created? The genesis of the transcendental etudes go back to 1826, when 15-year-old Franz Liszt wrote a set of useful exercises called the Etude and Dose exercises, S136. And then Liszt returned to these pieces and got inspiration from the 12 exercises. Then he wrote the Dose Grand Etudes, which is called the 12 Grand Studies, S137, which was published in 1837. And the Transcendental Etudes S139 are a revision of the Dose Grand Etudes. The whole collection was published in 1852 and dedicated to his teacher, Carl Czerny, who is famous as an etude composer. So the Eroica is the seventh of the 12 transcendental etudes by Franz Liszt. It's a piece rapid downward runs, bravura, and octaves. So at the time, it was the Romantic period for the European country, and it's full of the social transmissions and local wars. So for people, they really hope that there is one hero appears, and the same as Franz Liszt. And so you can see this piece, Liszt used the theme of heroism through the whole part. So when the heroic theme comes in, the piece becomes more chaotic and finally erupts in difficult octave and arpeggios. And it finished with a final restatement of the theme. And in this piece, as main theme, the heroism is full of whole piece, and he used the tense harmonies changes and from slow to fast speed stretching, huge contrast of strength and weakness show the hero character. And what is the transcendental etudes value? It's definitely they are full of finger skills, and whether it's an octave, a chord, a dramatic scales, a fast run, or a big jump movement, you name that, they all can be found in transcendental. And another point is the symbonicity. Let's try to use piano to create the sound effect of symphonic orchestra. And after that, many composers began to follow this approach. And at the same time, he pioneered the creation of title works. So it's time to move to the second part. First of all, I want to say that the octave is definitely a difficult technique point for many students of the piano to address. And look at the scores. Here's a complete page of two-handed octaves and chords. So how can we play them perfect? The first point is keeping your thumb and pinky tight. Why I say that? Because if you don't keep your fingers well supported, the quality of the sound will drop dramatically. And even worse, you will even touch the wrong keys. And that's why keeping your fingers supported is the most basic requirement. And secondly, is a difficult point. That is, make sure that you play in the directionally. For example, we look at the score. Between the chords, the octave is split into broken chords for the downward and then upward progression. So when we play, we need to tell ourselves in advance that where will the next note comes and into our brains that move our hands to play. This will help us to improve the correctness rate. And the third point is let our arms and shoulder relax. I just talk about the keeping finger tight, but for other part of our body, we need to be relaxed. Don't be tense. This could help you to shift the weight of your fingertips more easily and make better sound. And before we turn to the second part, let's take a look at these two videos. First of all, we need to talk about the pedal. So the purpose of pedal here is to create a better acoustic to reflect the simplicity that Liszt wanted. And look at the scores. You can find the octave in B flat, D flat, and F major with left hand are medium. That means you have to keep them for two counts. So in the first video, I play the octaves with both of my hands. Let my second fingers to keep the B flat and use other fingers of my hands to play the soprano section and lower register. So after the first chord, I use the sustain pedal, and when the next B flat comes, I lose it, so that I can keep the B flat sounds going, but other section is still clean. And the second video, I use the middle pedal to keep the note. After playing the first B flat, I use the middle pedal for the whole section, and the sustain pedal is used to control the other part sound. Well, it seems like two totally different ways of pedal using, but the same effect is achieved. So it's really amazing. For the final point, well, this part is how to play with sense of layers. As you can see, there are 4 points. The first one is using different key touch skills to make different sound. And like I just said, it's important to think of where the melody will go in your brain and to decide to play forte or piano. And what does it mean to play with sense of progression? It means you need to plan for your playing and decide where should we do the crescendo and where should we do the diminuendo. So at last, make the chords sounds fuller. So both 4 of them are, I think, is same important. So let's look at the right side and look at the scores. And here is some octaves, upward octaves. So for these octaves, I will use my fingertips to play them to make the sound more clear and more sharper and shorter. And then down to the chords, I will use my finger pulp to let the chords more softly, just like this. as you can see that this part in this place, the score wrote the double fourth, but I didn't play that. I only played one fourth, and because because we have almost the same phrase in the next section, so in this place I will play the double fourth. The reason why I do that is it sounds more like a hero leading his army to the battlefield, and this time is from a fireplace, and from this time it's close to us. So the sound, if the sound changes, is also a way to make the progression, the sense of progression. And for the final part, we can see the two times playing are totally different. In the first time, my arm was tense, so I didn't play the sound so penetrating. But the key to make the chords sounds fuller is just like the second time. The professor told me to open my arms to let the shoulder, arms, and even my back relax. That can make the that can make more powerful chords and make the sounds more penetrating. So it's close to the end. So do you have any question to ask me? Well, oh, I heard a person that asked me one question. He asked me that, like, when we're practicing one piece, should we go to the internet to listen to different version from different pianists? Well, for me, in my opinion, I think listen to different version is important. It can help us to learn and how to play the sound and what sound do we want, and which place should we play crescendo, and which play should we play the double forte or play the piano. But it's more important to look at the score carefully and think of them in our brains by ourselves, because if you only if you do that, you can get more knowledge by yourself. You can say, oh, these are all I learned by myself, but not just learning and copy the other people's way. So this is my opinion, and thank you for asking this. Well, so I guess this is the end of my presentation, and thank you for coming and listening.